Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. It has been quite a long time since I've uploaded a video. I am actually on sabbatical from work this semester and I am going to a training for work. So I have been a student during this unusual time. So I've been trying to get my planning system together and starting to really get into a rhythm for being a student rather than being a full-time employee. So I am really looking forward to jumping into 2021 planning. Hopefully the year will be a little bit better than 2020. And I decided that I'm going to change up my system for 2021. I will have a full-on video on what that's going to look like in the coming weeks. But the Jibun Techo is going to be part of that system. And I went ahead and I purchased a bunch of Jibun Techo stuff. And I'm going to go through that with you today. I did do a full review of the Jibun Techo, like their standard A5 as well as their B6. That's an A5 Slim and a B6 Slim. I'm going to go ahead and link those in the section up top here so that you can see both the standard A5 and B6. I have purchased some of the new additions for the Jibun Techo for 2021 as well as the Jibun Techo Biz, which I'll be going through with you today. Starting with some accessories, I picked up these transparent sticky notes. I picked them up both for the A5 size and the B6 size. So I'm going to open them up and see what they look like. So first I want to do a little size comparison. So you'll see here that the B6 is more narrow than the A5, so they're not necessarily interchangeable. They come in this little plastic case, and I'm assuming that's to protect the tabs. And the tabs themselves are somewhat translucent, so I am going to try them out in the actual Jibun Techo. I'll open them up and see how those look. But you have two very narrow ones, and then you have ones that are kind of in between, and then you have the ones on the bottom here, which are the widest or tallest of those options. I also bought the two Jibun Techo rulers that they have, so I'm going to open that up. So these are the two rulers. First I thought I would use the orange one more than the green one because I do like the idea of spacing out some time. So this has both the width of the A5 Slim as well as the B6 Slim, and then there's also some arrows and dots. I use my Hobonichi ruler pretty consistently. I really like this green one. And it also has the ability to square out things within the columns for the days. It has this stencil with numbers. And then I really use this square the most because in my bullet journaling system, I use a square for task items. So I do use that square quite a bit. This one has a circle. It doesn't have a little square, which is why I purchased this green one just to accommodate that. But there's a little squiggly line, there's a little clock, and also you can put this inside your planner and then have that up top as a bookmark. So here is the orange one. I also have the green one here. So what this has is the numbers up top, and it also has some icons, some weather icons, some smiley face icons, and then some other miscellaneous things. It also has that square that it's supposed to be used to line the exterior of these faces, but I also just like having a square. This might be too big to use as a task box, but I also have the Hobonichi, which is a smaller square. But I wanted to check out both of these since it's not something that I've purchased before. It's not something I had in my collection, so I wanted to add those two items. Next up is the Jibun Techo Biz. This is the A5 Slim size. As I said, I have had the regular A5 Slim I think I've had it for two different years. In the past like 4 or 5 years, I have used it on and off. It hasn't been a system that I've been able to stick with, but I did want to try out the Biz because the paper is a little bit thicker. It also has just a black and white color scheme as opposed to the colors that is on the conventional A5 Jibun Techo. So I wanted to check this guy out. This guy is the Biz. So what makes this one different, as I said, was the weight of the paper. but this is also the first time I'm seeing the inside of a biz. So it looks like it starts off with some instructions on how to use the Jibun Techo. I don't speak Japanese, so I won't be able to see what it's saying. It does have some color here when it is showing you some examples of how you could use the weekly layout, but again, since I don't read Japanese, I won't be able to read that. So as soon as I open up to the yearly overview, I can see that it definitely looks very different than the regular version. So this is from 2017, but you can see that this one's definitely kind of cleaner. It has a different font, and it's also a lot easier to read. So it looks like the actual calendars are a little bit bigger. The font size is bigger for 2021, and then this is last year and next year for 2020 and 2022. After this yearly overview, they have another version of a yearly overview. This is similar to the Hobonichi, where there's an actual spot for every day of the year. So this is a year in 2 pages. Then there's a little My Dream chart for 2021. There's also an age chart. Moving on, there's a money plan. Since I haven't used the Jibun Techo as my main planner, I haven't really thought through how I'm going to use some of these spreads yet, but I am planning on trying to utilize all of these little sections here in the front. The next thing is a map of Japan. Super cool, but not particularly useful for me. Then it starts with a weekly plan. So this is a weekly overview. It doesn't have a specific date attached to it. The purpose of this is to map out your ideal week. So similar to what they have at the very beginning, which is an example of how to use the Jibun Techo, it gives you an opportunity to go ahead and map out your week. So that's the weekly plan. There's 100 wishes list, but it could also just be a checklist with 100 entries. I'm considering using this as my shopping list and just writing it down and keeping a running list. Then there's favorite phrases, so I'll be using this for my quotes. A recommendations list. I may or may not be using this for movies or books that I want to watch or read. Next is a book list, so I'd probably use that for the book list there. There's a movie list. See, it's like super functional, and these are things that I would normally write into my bullet journal. So having these pre-populated in the beginning of the journal could save me a little bit of time. And just a little preview of what I'm trying to do, I'm attempting to use just one notebook for the entire year of 2021. Usually I use a notebook every 6 months, so it's just like a little bit of a challenge for me. I have the next list are books or gifts received and gifts given. Then there's a promise list. There is a blank spread here where you can put anything you'd like up here, and then you can format it any way that makes sense. And then here you also see a difference in the regular Jibun Techo that is colorful. You have each month has a color assigned to it, but here you'll see that February, March, and the following months all are grayscale with the exception of Saturday and Sunday. Saturdays are in this light blue hue, and then Sundays are in this reddish hue here. So this you can use as a habit tracker or anything else that you want to see in this format, as opposed to the conventional calendar format, which is what's going to come up after this, I believe. So you have a few pages of that. And then this particular book starts in December of 2020. So here you have more of that conventional calendar. Again, here you have less color than you have in the colorful Jibun Techo. I really like this subdued color scheme. So I still like that there's a little bit of blue and a little bit of red, so you do have a Saturday and a Sunday delineation, but you also have more freedom to make the month any color that you'd like. So there is December, and then it goes all the way out until it does January, February, March of 2020. So it does give you a few months for forward planning into 2022. After that last monthly overview of March, you're going to start in your weeks. So here is the first weekly spread. It starts November 30th, and it's going to take you into that first week of December, so you do get to start this one a little bit early. I know I'm raring to get moving into my 2021 setup, even though I still have like months left in 2020, but like I said, I've just been kind of in a planning slump a little bit just because of how things have been recently, and also just being a student has really changed up my planning style. But there are just weekly overviews from here on out, and at the very back there are some note pages. There are just blank pages. I am trying to see, I do feel the difference in this paper. It does, oh, that was two of them. It has that smooth finish, kind of like a Rhodia notebook. And it does feel like not as thin as the other Jibun Techo, definitely thicker than my Hobonichi. So that is the Jibun Techo Biz. This is in the A5 slim size, and this is the only A5 size that I purchased because I was interested in giving some of these other products a try. So I did get the Jibun Techo Lite Mini as well as the Days Mini. So let me open up the Lite Mini first. So the Lite Mini comes in a few of these type of pastel colors. The cover is a really soft, kind of like a leatherette feel, and it is quite a bit thicker than the cover for the Biz. Actually, it's probably about the same, but you can see here that it has that additional layer that causes that softness in the front. So it's quite a thick cover page that you have there on the Lite. So it starts off here just with a 2021 page and a little name page right there, and then just bringing you in a little closer, you do have that yearly overview here again, so the year in 2 pages. It looks like you don't have the large you don't have a large calendar. So here is this year, 2021, and then the following year, 2022. Right after that, you have My Dreams. You have just a plain list that you can fill out however you'd like. There's another 2-page spread for lists. Oh, there's 3 pages. Let's see how many of these there are. 5. So it looks like there's 5 2-page spreads for any type of list. And that is followed with the monthly overview. This is adorable how cute and compact it is, but also these Gantt charts in the bottom here. So just like in the Biz that I just showed you, these are on individual sheets, but part of what makes this the Mini and the Lite is, well, the Mini is that it's B6 size, and then the Lite is that it has merged some of those things from the A5 size into it has merged some of the formats so that it's less pages. But if you still want to do some monthly tracking here at the bottom, you can do that. And you also have the conventional calendar up top. I really like this format, and I'm just a little bit kicking myself because I've ordered a really expensive A5 book cover, and I am kind of digging the B6 size recently. So something like this might quite really work out for me. I just really wanted to take a look at it and see what it was, or how it was formatted and what it was like, to see if I could potentially use it. I'm not quite sure, but mostly my apprehension is because I've invested so much in the A5 size in general. But if I were to use a B6 size, or maybe just a B6 for work, this definitely seems like a viable option for me. So here is the month of February. Again, you have the conventional calendar up here, and then you have that Gantt chart across the bottom. It looks adorable. It is also the subdued gray with the light hints of blue for Saturday and red for Sunday, and you're also going to have those slight hints of color in the Gantt chart in the bottom. So it goes through, let me see when it starts. It starts, does it start in December or January? No, oh. It starts in December of 2020, and then it goes on to this one also goes out to March of 2022. So you do have that space for forward planning, and then you have the weekly overview. Now, I toyed around with planning in the B6 Techo before. I do find that the rows are quite narrow for me. I do have pretty big handwriting even when I write with extra fine pens. So just looking at the width of this, it does look like it's pretty narrow, but again, I'm just not sure. I'm still working out what I want to do for next year, so this might be a viable option, especially because you have all of those other conveniences in the front. So the weeks go all the way out until the end of the year, and then here in the back you do have a few blank pages for note taking. So one of the options that I'm looking at is doing a B6 setup for work and separating my work and my home planner again. So that is the Jibun Techo Lite Mini. It's super cute. It's really, really soft, and I really do like the formatting changes in here. The final thing I purchased is the Jibun Techo Days Mini, which is their daily planner. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up. It looks like the Days Mini comes in 2 books. So you have half of the year here and the second half of the year in this reddish book. And this is brand new, so I haven't been able to look inside of it, but it does look like it has that 2021 overview as well as last year, or the current year right now, 2020, and 2022. It moves on to that 2-page yearly overview that we've seen now in both of the other books. It has my dreams for 2021 and then events here. So this is a little bit different. It has events going from January through December, and then 2022 and 2023. So a place for some forward planning. It has 100 wishes, the 100 wish list. It has empty lists that you can fill with any topic that you'd like. So here we have 1, 2, 3. So it is 3 less than you have in the Lite Mini, but then again, this is also supposed to be for 6 months. So we'll look at the second book to see if the second book also has 3 lists that you can fill out with whatever header you'd like. Here it has the same format. Ooh, so I really like this because it is a daily, but it also has the monthly in the front, which is another format that I've considered. So this has a full conventional calendar up top, and then it has the Gantt chart in the bottom. So just like the Mini or the Lite Mini, it has those 2 formats consolidated into one 2-page spread. Here we have February, and this is probably going to be the same moving forward. Oh, interesting. Okay, so it has those full calendars until June, which this book is supposed to take you into June. So it's supposed to be 6 months. And then the months that are going to be in the second book, so July through December, are actually really small calendars. So here you will see July is up top and it's sharing a 2-page spread with August. So that goes through till December of 2021. That is an interesting change. Ooh, I like this. It has like a little page introducing you to January. Again, I'm so sad that I don't know what these things say, but I do think that there is a translation code on jetpens.com that someone has translated what each of these means, but I could easily just label these different things and it can be like a little monthly review. Now, this is super interesting. I have chosen not to do a Hobonichi cousin size this year. It's the first year I haven't done it in probably 6 years or so, but I really don't use the daily pages, so I'm not quite sure if what I think I will do with this Jibun Techo daily, but I was really intrigued with this division. It is similar to the day designer, where down the middle it has the time, and then you have a section for the to-dos for that day, and then you also have the ability to put in your hourly schedule. So I liked the thought of having something similar to that in a 6-month book, but I also know that I haven't necessarily used my cousin very much this past year, and I have had the full cousin and I've had the avec size, so I'm not sure how much I will use this for. Again, I'm still debating, but on the very top of here you have tiny little weather icons. Let me bring this up. So on the very top of the page here, you have the month and the day, you have tiny little weather icons, and then up here it's telling you where you are in the month. So here we are in the first of the month, but then it also says like the few days that came after that and came before that. And you can also see that it has the days of the week written in the Japanese character. The only reason I know that is because I've had Japanese planners for a few years now, so I am starting to recognize the 7 symbols. And also right here we have Friday, and I see that right there we have the same symbol. So on the very top it has the dates as well as the day, and then going down the middle here you can see the hourly format that's taking you from 1 in the morning until 1 in the morning the next day, or actually just 0 through 24. And then you can see these dots. Although they looked very pronounced on the camera right now, they actually do kind of fade into the background, so I think it's pretty easy for you to ignore them, or if you need to use like more than 2 spaces for an entry, I think that's pretty easy to do as well. If I bring it down from the camera a little bit, you might be able to see how they do kind of fade into the background. They're not as prominent as they are coming up, at least on my Finder right now. Down here at the bottom, it does have a little calendar that's telling you where you are in the month. Again, the days of the week, and you have just like a little tiny calendar right there at the bottom. And it looks like this continues on every day. I do really like again, you have the red here for Sunday, and you have blue for Saturday. And I want to see here this monthly overview. I have really been trying to get into a routine. A monthly overview, a monthly review, a weekly review, a daily review. So this might really help me with my monthly review. I do really like the format. It's super cute. It's really compact. It's different. It might just spark my interest. I do have B6 covers, so I am not sure where my apprehension lies, and I might end up just putting myself into that B6 size cover with some of these B6 size planners. I'm just not sure yet. But for now, I just wanted to share with you all my little Jibun Techo haul and share with you a little bit of the new releases that they had this year, some of the accessories that I bought, and I think that's it for today, guys. I hope to see you again very soon, and until next time, I hope this video brought you some utility and joy.